Now, I came upon this Twitter post that really makes you think because it strikes at the essence of the Western culture. Trust me, if you don't live within that culture, if you happen to live in Eastern Europe, especially under a nation that had Orthodox Christianity, like this way of thinking is actually bewildering. And you're wondering, okay, is it actually productive? Because like all it does is it creates strife and disharmony in society. Like it's a perpetual nagging society where you have people that nag at each other. And so you gotta wonder, like, is it actually productive? Is it actually accomplishing something? Or is it just making the people nagging feel good that they're nagging? So what am I talking about? Well, this is an old tweet, right? It's from 2018. Like, do not hold Matt Walsh accountable for this tweet. I'm sure that in the couple of years he changed his mind about the issue. But he is saying that video games are a sacred cow because our country is filled with adults who are obsessed with them. That's why we all pretend insanely that there's nothing wrong or disturbing about a child spending all day killing people in the virtual world, right? And so, like, you notice that there is no distinction between fantasy and reality, that you can use fantasy as a Rorschach test, that hopefully in the future corporations will actually monitor your gaming activity and then have like a score point on how you treat NPCs. And if you treat NPCs unkindly or in a way that the corporation doesn't like, then they don't hire you, right? Because if what Matt Walsh is saying, if I was running a corporation, that's how I would run it, right? Like then you guarantee that you get the best employees ever. If video games and fiction are a Rorschach test, then this would be a surefire way to know the personality of each and every individual that you're hiring, and then you can avoid lawsuits, you can increase productivity, right? Why aren't companies doing this? Oh, because it's not real, right? Because the way people play video games, the way people find escapism, the way people can do socially unacceptable things in video game is just fantasy. You know, like in fantasy, everyone wants to loosen up. Everyone wants to do certain things like rob a bank or some shit that they wouldn't do in real life, right? But anyway, right, if you're part of like the Matt Walsh way of life, if you think it, then you must want to do it, right? Like human beings do not have any sort of mental ability to realize, okay, this is wrong. I would probably enjoy doing it, you know, like Need for Speed. I would probably enjoy racing at 100 miles per hour on the street, but I don't want to do it because it's dangerous, because I would endanger other people, because it's illegal, because such and such and such. Or maybe it's cool in your mind, you know, when you're racing at 100 miles per hour, but like in real life, actually feeling that speed, actually seeing the limitations of the car and the road, like maybe it's not as cool as when you do it, you know? None of that applies. Okay, monkey see, monkey do, monkey wants, monkey do. That's pretty much like the opinion of Matt Walsh. And in order to prevent that from happening, we have to nag. So, like, as a society, we nag at strangers. We become like, wives that constantly nag at the husband. And then the stranger that would want to play Need for Speed on a public road would be like, okay, I just want Matt Walsh to stop nagging, so therefore I'll stop. But this is the other interesting tweet from a man in red, which says, I've been noticing that Matt Walsh worldview has been rubbing off on Tim Pool a bit. In one of Tim's recent news segments, he spoke disparaging of young men playing video games all day. And opined the solution for crashing fertility rates was hard physical work and mandatory boot camps. It's weird to see the guy who has and had a skater that loves magic, the Gathering, and Civilization take such stances. Even weirder because he's aware there's other reasons why so many guys choose video games over dating, but then snaps into this mindset that young men have only themselves to blame and they're the ones that need to change. Again, like we don't really see this in Orthodox societies, like the idea of lecturing people that aren't your family, that aren't your friends, that you don't know, like random strangers, believing that they have a duty towards you. Because at the end of the day, that's what the conversation is about, right? Like, Tim Pool doesn't want to live in a society with low fertility rates. That's his problem. That's on him. And so he wants you to make him happy, right? Like, you need to have kids, not because it's good for you, but because Tim Pool demands it. And like this mindset is not about kids only. It's like in general, you will see these types of people that like force you to behave in a certain way to make them happy. And my question is like, is this actually working? Like, can we stop with the ideology for a little bit? Can we stop with the moralizing for a second? And wonder, like, is this an effective tactic? Is this what it takes? Because if this is what it takes, then the solution is simple, right? Like, buy some ads on TV and start nagging people and wait for babies to start popping like popcorn. Like, you go into a hospital, babies everywhere. Why? Because Tim Pool nag. I don't think this is an effective tactic. What I do think this is how the West does social community and virtue. Like here in my country and also in Eastern Europe, in order to be virtuous, you actually have to, give to charity, but it's even more appreciated if you actually go and volunteer to a soup kitchen. If you're like genuinely helping your community, like you're in a neighborhood and you're actually helping people. That's what a virtuous person looks like here. But in modern Western nations, like I'm talking about the United Kingdom, America, Australia, what's important is to flap your mouth, right? And to say the correct things. Like you join a group of people that is absolutely obsessed with how other humans think, and you start nagging other humans, and all of a sudden everyone says, well, that's such a virtuous person. Like he knows the way, he understands the universe, and so he is filled with virtues. I don't particularly like this. Like I guess it's good for social cohesion, right? Like if you wanna have a society where you have like a sort of aristocracy, like the people that have the good mindset. But the problem is that the actions aren't there, right? Like no one is asking Tim Pool, okay, but do you have 7 or 8 kids? Like no, why not? I mean, Elon Musk has 7 or 8 kids, right? Like that would be the requirement. Like if you look at the failing birth rates, like you should pick up the slack. You should have at least 8. But no, like we don't actually look at the actions. In fact, it's the other way around. If you have someone that has 8 kids, but says the opposite of what Tim Pool does, that person is considered to be bad, while Tim Pool would be considered to be someone that you need to get wisdom from, right? Jesus had a parable, which I find it extremely fascinating because it applies so good to the current culture, where a father that has 2 kids tells them to work in the vineyard. One son says that he will work. The other son refuses the father and says that he doesn't want to, right? And so the question is like, which one of the sons are doing good? And the correct answer is like, we don't know yet. We don't know which one of the son is the good son, because what ends up happening is the son that said he doesn't want to work in the vineyard actually does go and works anyway, right? Like he changed his mind. Meanwhile, the son that did say he will work changed his mind as well, and he chooses not to. So at the end, what Jesus is trying to say is that the actions are the important thing, right? Not the flapping of your mouth, but like what the person actually does is far more important than what they say. And so, if what Tim Pool is doing isn't working, right, and what Matt Walsh is doing isn't working, and what they're doing is to shame people for not living in a life that would make Matt Walsh and Tim Pool feel comfortable, then what would the solution be, right? Because I don't want to just deconstruct and criticize. Like, I am willing to offer a solution for anyone that actually managed to spend enough time to get to this part of the video. Because you'll see in the comments section, right? Like, you'll see how much this triggers people when you call it out. Just look into the comment section and see how many people are ranting about shit that I said previously and haven't even gotten to this part. And they will never get the knowledge, right? Like, unfortunately, they are depriving themselves of the knowledge of how you can get more people to have babies. First and foremost, you need to understand that you won't get 100% compliance, right? Like, having babies is a personal decision that is built upon many factors, socioeconomics factors as well, religious factors, ideological factors, biological. Like, you can have someone that's infertile, right? And because of the lack of fertility, he can want to have kids, but he can't. Many, many reasons. And it also takes 2 people to have babies, right? And if a single one of those 2 people doesn't want to, babies don't fucking happen. And so you need to understand, like, no matter what you do, you're not going to reach 100% compliance, right? But what you can do is to show people why it's wholesome to have babies. Like if Tim Pool or if Matt Walsh would talk about stories when they were with their kids and their kids made them happy, right? That would actually be able to persuade people in having children. If you were to talk about how miserable you felt and how lonely you felt before you had kids and how amazing it is now and how great it is to spend time with your kids, I guarantee to you, like that would actually convince some people to have kids. You start talking about finances and you say, I thought that it's going to be incredibly expensive. Turns out it wasn't that expensive. Turns out it's manageable. That is the way. And then you also go to a hospital where you have or an elderly people home, and you talk with old people that didn't have kids, and you listen to how miserable and depressed they are, and they're saying that, no one is coming for Christmas, all my relatives are dead, I'm alone. That's real, by the way. That actually happens, right? And so, by doing this, the chance of convincing more people to have babies is a lot higher than if you just fucking nag. Am I not making any sense, right? Am I saying something that's absurd? Because, you keep getting pushback when you tell people, nagging doesn't fucking work. The only way nagging works is, if people look at you with awe and admiration. If you already have tons of respect. And then when you look at someone and you're disappointed, they want to change their mind. But in order for that to happen, you'd have to be in their life. You'd have to be a father figure. You'd have to be a very close friend. You'd have to be a relative. Or you'd have to be a coworker or someone that the person knows. You can't just be a twat on the internet and demand that the world bends to your will and does everything that you say to make you comfortable. Because that's how it's seen from the outside, right? From the outside, a person that doesn't give a shit, it's that sounds like a Matt Walsh problem. There's not enough kids and Matt Walsh. Yeah, that sounds like a you problem. I know how to deal with it. I'll just have more money. And I'll move somewhere where I want to live. And I'll make sure that I buy some apartments and I rent them. And I don't care about you, Matt Walsh. I have never pledged loyalty to you. I have never sworn an oath to you. I don't have anything, requiring me to be loyal to you or your own. And you guys have treated me like shit. You dismissed my video games. You shat on my hobbies. You're not even considering me to be a human. Why the fuck would I even care about pleasing your ass? Right? This is how people think. I'm telling you because I've been in both communities. I've been in the atheist community. I've been in the religious community. I've been even in other communities that have different religions. I understand how people feel when you have moral busybodies cracking down. This level of hostility just builds contempt. You are not going to get what you want except, feeling good as you're demeaning other people, as, you're getting more subscribers because you got engagement since you said something controversial on the internet. But that's pretty much it. You're not actually fixing the problem that you want to fix. And then, there's also the question, can this problem be fixed? What if no empire survives prosperity? What if when you have way too much prosperity, it's kind of like an evolutionary mechanism for people to just have less kids? I mean, that happens throughout history, right? When things go really well, and people do really good in their life, they have less kids. When you have poverty, famine, war, that type of thing, people have 6 or 7 kids. Even today, in developed nations, if you look at the cities where, people earn a lot and they have all the commodities and all the amenities, they seem to have few kids. When you look at the Amish, when you look at the rural areas, 4 or 5 kids, right? Maybe this is something that actually can't be fixed. Maybe in the future, by people not having kids, you're going to go through an economic downturn, an economic crisis, and all of a sudden, during that poverty, people start having more kids again. Why must we assume that every single problem requires fixing? Every single problem is an equation that can be balanced, because it affects the system. That everything that destabilizes the holy system requires human intervention, and if you just let nature take its course, it won't find the solution. For thousands of years, nature has found solutions, but apparently we reached this point where things are so bad, it's the point of no return. For more than 3,000 years, humanity existed by itself, but now we reached the point where we need to start nagging people. Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.